3, 4. Good morning. Take a deep breath. Get ready to sing. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let's hear you, ready? One big family. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 hey.
Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I am Edward Fillion, and I'm here to welcome you to our center. And also, I'd like to thank our wonderful band for waking us up so beautifully. It has been said that there are no such things as coincidences, and I happen to agree with that. And still, I'm filled with awe when what is happening in the world seems, well, mystically synchronized to what is happening inside me and at our center. Many of you likely came in this morning carrying the weight of the news of war in Iran, which is the country where Baha'i, the faith tradition we're studying today, originated. The Baha'i faith's core teaching is that all of humanity is one family. And to me, war, wherever it is the ultimate failure of such a beautiful vision. This year we're studying world faith traditions, and as I mentioned, March's focus is Baha'i. And so what was planned as an educational spiritual exploration of world faiths has become something deeply alive and relevant. The Baha'i faith has a vision. Well, it's as simple as it is sweeping, and it's this, that all of humanity is one family. And it teaches that the world's greatest religions, all the traditions really, each carry a ray of one light. And furthermore, it teaches that the diversity of race, culture, background is something to celebrate rather than to tolerate. So in Baha'i, there's no hierarchy of souls, no races, no classes, no genders stand closer to the divine than any other. So this March, as we turn our attention to the Baha'i faith tradition, we're letting our awareness rest on their vision, which stands alongside our very own, of a world that works just a little bit better for everyone. Whether you are here in the room with us this morning or listening to us online, I hope you feel the warmth of our welcome. And to help create the atmosphere of our spiritual celebration this morning, won't you please join me in reading our mission? The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teachings. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. We work toward the realization of this vision through our 5 spiritual practices. Please read them with me. Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. As you may hear, aspiring to being as welcoming as we can be is one of our motivating values. And as we have been doing, we have been highlighting certain volunteer service groups within our community, and it is appropriate this morning that we highlight and focus on one that is very dear to us, and that is our welcoming team, and they have made a video for us.
Good morning. The welcoming team consists of the people who greet you at the door, welcome first-time visitors with a flower, serve your fresh coffee, and collect and safeguard your donations. The welcoming team's mission and vision states that from our connection with divinity and with each other, we help create a welcoming space for everyone who walks through our doors, no matter what the reason, where people can feel at home, safe, valued, and loved. Together, we foster a true sense of belonging. We meet for a half an hour before each service begins to get organized and to pray in. By connecting with each other and through spirit, we begin our service from a place of joy.
Like you said, Anne-Marie, we really do start that morning in circle, and that's where we really connect with the team. And so from that place of connection and joy, really, we greet our congregants, we serve the coffee, we pass out the flowers to new visitors. It's really very lovely. So if you're interested in joining our team and feeling some of that connection and joy, I invite you to come and talk to us out in the social hall. We have a table out there, and we'd love to have more volunteers. Thank you.
See you there.
And now we can see the welcoming team in action, because it's the time of our service for me to extend a warm welcome to our first-time visitors. If this is your first time at the center, won't you please stand or raise your hand and hold it high so that our welcoming team ushers can find you and bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of our gratitude that you would spend time with us today. As you came in this morning, you may have noticed all the chalk artwork on the sidewalks, and that is because our teens from the neighboring Centers for Spiritual Living from Napa, Sacramento to San Jose are here with us in the building. They had an overnight, but it's too early for them to be with us this morning, and they will be here at the 11 a.m. service. I know that somewhere between the music and the meditation and the prayer practices and Reverend Russ's message is exactly what you are looking for on a heart level to supplement your spiritual journey for the next steps. So I invite you to sit back and be open to that. You're welcome here. Now please enjoy some music to lead us into a short time of silent contemplation and prayer. Welcome.
As the wind blows, I let go. As the wind blows, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. As the river flows, as the river flows, I let go. As the river flows, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. As I breathe in, as I breathe in, I let go. As I breathe out, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go.
Centering within, in that place of awareness of the oneness, the presence, the peace and the power of that which we call Spirit, Bahalua, God, and so many other names. That which informs, supports, creates, and expresses in all that is. As I know this, I know that that which I call the beloved expresses as me in my voice, in my thoughts, in my actions, in all that I am. As that is so for me, so it is true for every single person hearing these words today. That which is alive within each of us is that divinity, that mystery, that presence. From this truth, I speak a word about this service and this spiritual community. I know that in those offerings today of music, of wisdom, of connection, we build more and more of the presence of peace, of grace,
and love, not only within us and among us, but radiating out to the world. I bless those volunteers and those who are listening in presence in this room as well as online. Spirit is within, among, around, and beyond us, always, supporting us, guiding us throughout our lives. Having spoken these words, grateful for their truth and their power, I simply know them so, released into love and into law, and invite you to say with me, and so it is. Good morning. I'm Tara Steele, a minister here at the center, and I invite you to read with me this month's affirmation. People and the unfolding of truth. We have a young person's typeface on this, so I'm glad it's also up here.
From a mansion in Virginia, on a mountain in Peru, in a tent out in the desert, 3 days ride from Kathmandu, for a baby with a fever, or a teen that's run away. If you're looking for salvation, or just looking for a better way. From a beggar in Calcutta, or an Ethiopian king, from a temple in Korea, where a monk begins to sing, for a church that burned in Georgia, or a sailor lost at sea. Doesn't matter where it comes from, doesn't matter if it's you or me. In any tongue, in any color, in any word, in any name, when we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same. No matter what we call it, no matter where we aim, when we lift our hearts together, we all pray the same. From a pilgrim facing Mecca, or a rabbi in Berlin, from a shaman in the jungle, symbols painted on his skin, for a young bride to be fruitful, or a battle to be won, to the skies for rain in August, to find grace in Mary's Son. Oh yes, we have our differences, and yes, we have our choice, but when we look beneath the skin, we find we have one voice, one voice. From the man who plays piano, to the boy who beats the drum, to the girl who sings the melody, or a baby who just hums. When you put it all together, you will hear the symphony, all the voices singing loudly in a prayer of harmony. Harmony. In any tongue, in any color, in any word, in any name, when we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same. No matter what we call it, no matter where we aim, when we lift our voice together, we all pray the same. When we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same.
Christopher Fritchie, everyone. Good morning. Before I begin, let's just take a nice collective breath together. I like beginning with the breath because for me, I find that times when I feel off center, the breath can bring me back to that center, to that spirit within. So thank you for joining in that breath with me. We may have many more breaths to take today. Now, before today, along with many of you, I suspect, I didn't know much about the Baha'i faith. And I was aware of it because, I lived in Chicago for quite some time, and the North American temple of the Baha'i faith is in one of the northern suburbs, and I visited it before. But the depth of its teachings was still a mystery to me. And I learned that Baha'i was the first faith to make central to its foundational principles that idea that all spiritual paths are valid and to be celebrated, and that no path, which includes Baha'i itself, was to be elevated above the others. I mean, that's something worth pausing to take in. No path should be elevated above the others. And then I became more deeply engaged when I learned about the Baha'i idea of a progressive faith, a progressive revelation of spiritual truth, because Baha'i teaches that faith is something that evolves over time. And so it encourages faith to grow hand in hand with society and humanity as humanity grows. So in many ways, Baha'i was open at the top before our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, could even say that phrase, open at the top. In fact, that progressive nature of the Baha'i faith, it is deeply ingrained. Do you know there's no clergy in the Baha'i faith because they believe that we don't need an intermediary to have a direct experience and revelation of spiritual truth. And women are held at equal status as men, which was truly a radical statement given where and when the Baha'i faith began. And finding harmony between science and spirituality is encouraged. They're not seen as incompatible with one another. And violence and war, they're strictly prohibited because they're the antithesis to this idea that we are all part of one global family. So I learned that there is quite a lot that the Baha'i faith can teach us. And I feel like, given recent events, it feels vitally relevant. But before we dive in, I want to share a little bit of background for those of you who, like me, are probably new to this faith. As Dr. Edward mentioned, Baha'i began in Iran in the 19th century by its central figure, Baha'u'llah, who took over leadership of what the faith was previously when his teacher, the Bab, was executed for what he believed. Now, the Bab's execution, it brings something to mind that I feel is very important to remember. The path of spirit is not always an easy one. Over the centuries, many faiths have spoken of unity, just like Baha'i. And when they do, sometimes their idea of unity can clash with existing ideas of us and them. ideas that often become the mantra of a society. So anything that suggests unity, it can be frightening. It's easy to build an identity around feeling superior to others. And so throughout human history, it seems that when a message of peace emerges, like Baha'i shares, the reaction can be one of resistance. Well, knowing this, it invites me to look at my own responses when I get afraid. Do I shut down if a project that I'm working on isn't going the way that I planned? Do I run away when I have a disagreement with someone? Do I project my anger onto others who I don't think are acting the way that I think they should? The danger of these reactions, well, they keep me thinking about how I need to practice staying rooted in my spiritual center, especially when things are rough. That's why I like to breathe. Now, the Bab was persecuted for his beliefs, and yet he is described as being gentle, soft-spoken, contemplative. In many cases, he wouldn't even speak until he was absolutely sure of what he was going to say. Well, I could learn from that alone. And he's said to have had a voice that was so light and so kind that it softened those who heard it. I'd like to have that kind of a presence in the world. Can you imagine the kind of consciousness that is able to convey an atmosphere of peace simply through speaking? Ernest Holmes says in the Science of Mind textbook, "One cannot be a good student of the science of mind who is filled with fear and confusion. We must keep ourselves in a state of equilibrium, in a state of poise, peace, and confidence, in a state of spiritual understanding." Well, both the Bab and Baha'u'llah have a lot to teach me on this topic. Because I have to tell you, when I read the news yesterday and this morning, I have to admit that I didn't feel like I was in a state of peace, poise, and confidence. I suspect I'm not alone there. And so I wondered, how did the Bab and Baha'u'llah come to embody this consciousness of peace? Think about it. Think about the poise it took to remain true to one's beliefs in the face of persecution and imprisonment and even execution. Now, the challenges of my life don't include imprisonment and execution, but still I notice how easy it is for me to default to fear and doubt when I encounter challenges in the world, even if those challenges are just a small setback. I can remember many times when a broken down car, an unkind word, and even a stubbed toe have taken me out of my peace. And so I have to do what I can to stay grounded in what I know to be true, because otherwise I risk being overwhelmed. Now, in the Baha'i faith, this search for truth is said to be for everyone. It's encouraged. It is a constant goal that they strive for. And so that reminds me that I'm still growing. We're still growing. We're still learning. And I know that I have opportunities to discover that truth within me that can give me courage in the face of fear, clarity in the face of doubt. That means sticking with my practice, even during the challenges, especially during the challenges, like meditating when I'd rather be watching TV, speaking of spiritual mind treatment when I'd rather be complaining to my friends about my troubles, volunteering when I would rather get lost in myself and my own desires. Baha'i reminds me that my practice cannot be at the expense of my engagement with society. Social connection is part of Baha'i, that pursuit of social harmony. And so while my own spiritual practice is very important, it's just as important that my practice takes into consideration my impact on the world. And that means that I have to be intentional with how I live my life. I have to notice the times when fear is present and consciously choose to do the practice that can move me through that fear. I have to remember that my practice isn't just for my benefit, but is for the benefit of all. Because as one of us is able to return to our center of peace, we all benefit. I have to remember that even when it might feel like my spiritual practice is futile, because the challenges are too big, if I can still do it, I am making the choice to remain in peace. Now, this isn't easy. This is something that I constantly have to work on. I don't think I'm alone in this. I often have parts of my mind that will hijack me because they think that living from peace means that others are going to take advantage of me, or that an idea of world peace is a pipe dream. Sometimes parts of my mind are so intent on holding on to their grudges towards those who I fear or who I might disagree with. So when my world sometimes seems intent on showing me just how ugly it can be, well, living a life of peace, it can feel like taking a leap of faith. But what helps me take that leap of faith is when I can remember that living from peace doesn't mean that I'm passive. It doesn't mean that I have to allow myself to be exploited, or that I have to stand idly by in the presence of injustice. I found that the more I can rest my thoughts in peace and what true peace looks like for me, the more I feel connected with the world around me in a way that makes me want to help alleviate that suffering and this seemingly endless cycle of violence. You know, this is one of the reasons why I became a minister, because I know the power of our teaching to bring us back to that feeling of peace. And I know that there's an opportunity to share this teaching with every person so that they have that same opportunity that I've had. I know that the times when it is hardest for me to feel peace are the times when it is most important that I can share a message of peace. Staying connected to Spirit is what makes this possible for me. Sometimes that's just taking a breath. And Baha'u'llah suggests the practice that we can all do as well. He says, at the dawn of every day, one should commune with God and with all their soul persevere in the quest of the beloved. They should consume every wayward thought with the flame of God's loving intention, God's loving mention, actually, and with the swiftness of lightning pass by all else save God. This kind of a practice, allowing my awareness to return to that living spirit within, well, that helps me to build up an inner bank account of peace. And when it's easiest for me to feel peace, that's when I can really dive in. I can really build up that balance within me and connect with spirit so that in those times when I am not feeling peaceful, that's when I can draw upon that peace that's already within my heart. And that constant cultivation of that spiritual connection, it's something that Ernest Holmes talks about in the Science of Mind textbook when he shares spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer that you heard from Reverend Tara this morning. He says, in treatment, we turn entirely away from the condition because as long as we look at it, we cannot overcome it. By thinking upon a condition, we tend to animate it with the life of our thought, and thereby it is perpetuated and magnified. Treatment is the science of inducing within mind concepts, acceptances, and realizations of peace, poise, power, plenty, health, happiness, and success, or whatever the particular need might be. Now, turning away from the condition doesn't mean that we ignore the suffering of the world, that we don't make ourselves aware of it. But what Ernest is telling us here is that we're not going to be able to solve our problems if we allow our mind to become consumed by them, if we obsess over them. He's inviting us to redirect our attention and our awareness toward spiritual truth, this idea that we are all one global family, because it's there where we will find the possibility and the solutions that we so often seek for these challenges when we encounter them. And this principle of redirecting thoughts toward what it is that we desire without ignoring the things that are unpleasant, well, it's not something that I know that I'm going to master in one go. The challenges that we face, they keep on changing. And so the way that we practice, it has to change with them. It has to grow. This is something that I see in the Baha'i faith as well, because it teaches that faith must evolve hand in hand with humanity. The faith of 2,000 years ago, that was the faith that was needed for those times. But the faith of today must reflect the needs of today. And so I have to be willing to look at the challenges of the world and then update my practices and my understanding so that I'm able to stay rooted in my faith that these challenges too can be overcome. What does it mean for our faith to evolve? Well, let's look at our own tradition over the past few decades. The science of mind has incorporated new understanding from science and psychology, things that Ernest Holmes simply did not know of because the knowledge didn't exist in his time. Now we understand more about trauma and how it can impact our mind in the ways that we approach it. And we've developed new classes within Centers for Spiritual Living that are more aligned with our modern times. And that evolution, it's leading to this increasing realization that we too are part of the world, an important part of the world. And that The world needs the peace that you and I try to cultivate within our hearts and minds every single day. The Baha'i faith, it charges its followers to keep up with the times. And this is a charge that I'm relieved to see more and more within Centers for Spiritual Living. You know, for a long time, the science of mind was pretty laser focused on the inward journey. And I think that was the right choice for those times, because that inward journey, it's important to truly discover who we are and what is true. But now, I think we're being invited to consider what outward action can take. What we can take that is aligned with our values, our spiritually informed values. You know, it's good for me to know that there is a center of peace and wholeness within me, but how does that show up in my relationships? It's good to know about Spirit's unconditional love, and how does that show up in the things that I say privately in my mind about other people? How am I growing a consciousness that reflects my values of peace, harmony, and a world that works for everyone? And what can I do to help uplift a world that is often hurting? You know, here's the thing. I believe that when more of my words and actions, no matter how small I might think they are, when they're rooted in this strong belief that peace is not only possible, it's inevitable, then each of my actions builds an unshakable foundation that can ultimately uplift our collective consciousness in ways that can bring healing to the world. That's not just true for me, that's true for you too. Each act of kindness and generosity and compassion becomes a block of peace upon which we can rest the dreams and aspirations of all humanity. We're all growing together, getting better at it, sometimes stumbling, sometimes thriving. So this month, Baha'u'llah's words, I think, stand as a lantern for us, showing us the way when he says, "Love is a light that never dwelleth in a heart possessed by fear." Now, that's a high standard to have, but it's a worthy one. It's aspirational. It calls us to a higher attitude of mind. And so I have to do my work to ensure that that light within me is never extinguished by succumbing to my own terrors. I have to remind myself to choose peace every day, no matter how much I want to rage at the world. I have to choose peace every time my truck is back in the shop. I have to choose peace every time I pull a muscle in the gym. I have to choose peace every time something in the news derails my mind. Not because I'm obligated, but because I know that to do anything else risks letting my fears drown out the light of my heart. The Bab and Baha'u'llah believe that peace and unity are more than hopeful aspirations. Like Ernest Holmes, they believed that peace and unity are inevitable because peace and unity are the natural state of reality. In fact, Baha'i has a term for this ultimate peace. They call it the most great peace. They remind us that we also have to work toward that peace. So this month, I'm going to keep learning about Baha'i because it clearly has more to teach me. I hope that you'll join me And each and every day, as Baha'u'llah invites, let us focus our awareness upon that divine within. Let us focus on that peace that it brings us to every aspect of our life, so that that peace might soften all the hardened hearts in the world, starting with our own. Shall we take that into prayer? And there is only one life, one peace, one presence, one power, one source of all creation. It is truly everywhere and everything, and there is nothing beyond its creative power. There is nothing beyond the scope and reach of its love. And I know that I must be a part of that infinite divine one, and that must be true for each and every one of us. We are the human expressions of divinity itself. And so I know residing within us are peace, love, and wholeness. Unlimited. They are a flame that can never be extinguished. And so I claim for each of us an opening to that peace within, a softening, a gentleness, a compassion, a kindness. These are the things that I know come forth when I focus upon peace within myself. And so I invite that peace forth for all of us, knowing that as we connect to the peace within, as we connect to our inner divinity, all that pulls us off our center dissolves away. And that peace is what guides us in all that we say, all that we are, and all that we do. I am grateful to know that that peace is here now with each and every one of us that chooses peace each and every day. And so I let that peace usher my word into that divine law of the beloved that has already acted upon all that it has been given. And I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. I invite us all to take a nice deep breath, breathing in. Let out a big sigh. We use our breath to help us to transition to our practice of supporting our community financially. And there are a number of ways that you can give if you choose to help support us financially today. You can go on our website and give online. We also have text to give that I use because it's very fast and it's very easy. And today we will pass the basket. So I invite our ushers to stand and to hold this sacred space. And I invite you to hold your gift close to your heart as a symbol of your connection to this community. And repeat after me, I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does healing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
It's been a while since we've done this one, so if you know it, sing out so your neighbors can get it. Here's the first part. It's easy. It goes like this. One God. One God. One God. One God. One God. We are one God, one family. We are one God living in diversity. We are one God, and now I see we are one God living as you and me. Let's sing that again. We are one God, one family. We are one God living in diversity. We are one God. Now I see we are one
Thank you very much again to our band, and thank you for your support for our center. Yeah, they're getting a little bit out of control. Yeah. Which we like. We need a little bit of this to bring balance into our world right now, so thank you for that. And our theme has been community and oneness and welcoming, so it's appropriate to say that we had a new member orientation class and 24 people signed on to our membership, and I wanted to display their names for you so that we can welcome them with a round of applause into our membership at the Center for Spiritual Living. And we typically have 2 membership orientations a year. We'll have an extra one this year. Just watch the bulletin. It'll be a virtual one, so that it'll make it easy for people who want to become members but who live in a different time zone or far away from the center. They can do that also. I was in San Francisco a couple of days ago and walked past the Millennial Tower there, and I was reminded, as impressive as it looks, for years it appeared to be fine, just fine. But there was a problem with its foundation, and the building started to sink and tilt because the foundation never reached bedrock. It stood instead upon sand, I believe. Now, I think about that because we're approaching an upcoming class called Foundations of Science of Mind. The point is a spiritual life that is built on easy, appealing, popular ideas rather than a solid practice you heard Reverend Russ talking about. It may look vibrant for quite a long time before the instability starts to show up. That usually comes later, during rough times, often during the moments that demand the most from us. So if you'd like to plant your spiritual life on solid ground, or maybe you've just got some cracks in the foundation you want to repair, think about class. It starts Tuesday, March 10th at 6 p.m. You can find out about that in the social hall or on our bulletin. Now, every person practices spirituality in one way or the other, and at their core, a spiritual being is moving through human experiences, and sometimes that journey includes the movement through addiction and recovery. Conscious Recovery is the name of a workshop, and it approaches that path from a science of mind perspective, exploring how reconnecting with the spirit within can restore a sense of wholeness, confidence, and freedom. It's led by practitioner Denise Poole and certified substance abuse counselor Marielle Taylor, who's also very well trained in metaphysics. So if you're walking that path, or someone you know is walking that path, you can come and discover practical tools that can match your recovery progress along with your spiritual world. That's March 8th here at the center. We're talking all about the spiritual path today. There are moments in life that feel spiritual. They feel larger than ordinary experiences, and yet they are rooted in the ordinary, like a sunset that stops you, or a sudden sense of being held by something greater than you are. These are mystical experiences, but really they're available to anyone, especially when we train ourselves to perceive them and be available to them. The Mystical Path is a class, it's a Science of Mind class that offers these practical suggestions for how you can tune into those experiences and deepen your connection to them. And you do it through the 5 pillars that we mentioned: contemplation, meditation, self-inquiry, also discussion. Reverend Tara Steele, who did our opening prayer today, is going to be teaching that class to guide the students, each one of them, to their own authentic experience of the mystical presence of spirit within. Because a mystic isn't a rare type of person. It may be who you already are. So Reverend Tara will be outside and she'll answer your questions about the class. And there are scholarships both for the foundation class and for the mystical path class. Now, if you prefer to have a more informal connection opportunity, we've got circles for spiritual connection. These are small groups of people, less than 10. They meet in person, typically in a house, a private house, or sometimes at the center. And they are enrolling interest right now. You can find out about that also online in the social hall and our bulletin. And the people sit together, support each other, discuss elements of the service, and many report it was the turning point for them moving from an observer in this community to feeling like they were part of it with their voice being witnessed. Finally, next month, Sunday, March 22 at 1 p.m. is what? Our annual membership meeting, yes. And so if you're a member, may I see your hand? Please, today would be the day to register. You know why? We need a quorum to do business. That's a good safety guardrail. The people must be present for business to happen. So please register for the annual meeting. And there's going to be some interesting stuff. I'm going to give an update about our new senior minister search committee and our capital campaign to beautify and renew the roof. And we're going to elect our new trustees. It's going to be good. It takes place on Zoom, so that's why registration is very important. Now, if you register 2 minutes before the meeting, it won't happen. So I thank you for being part of this wonderful community. And you know community continues beyond Sunday. On Wednesday evening, we have a lovely growing community of people. We meet in the social hall, so it's comfy and cozy. There's beverages and bread. And Reverend Russ leads it in discussion of metaphysics, and there's music and meditation. So I invite you to have a wonderful week. And before we go on to the closing, we have a video from one of our favorite bards, Karen Drucker, inviting you to her March 8th event. Enjoy.
It's the power of women. United we stand. We're making a difference when we join hands. I think we need to join hands these days, don't you think? Hi there, everyone. Karen Drucker coming to you. And I just want to invite all the women of this wonderful community, Centers for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa and vicinities beyond, to join me on International Women's Day. Now, we're going to do it on March 7th, which is a Saturday, but actually International Women's Day is on March 8th, Sunday. But I'm hoping you will come on Saturday to join me for a little mini retreat. It's going to be 9:30 to 3 o'clock. And we're going to be singing, we're going to be praying, we're going to be meditating, we're going to be talking in groups. We're going to be talking about what's going on in our hearts and in our lives, and being able to have that safe place of community of women that you can feel safe enough to say whatever you need to say. And we're going to laugh, and we're going to have a good old time. So here's the deal. It's 9:30 to 3, and what you need to do is sign up. There's going to be a registration link. And what I want you to do is think about that day of coming and just giving this to yourself. Now, the doors are going to open at 9. There will be some little refreshments and light snacks. I want you to bring a lunch because we're all going to hang out and have lunch together. And just give this gift to yourself, because the power of women is going to heal this world. Don't you know that? So join me March 7th. See you then.
Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that workshop with us, that retreat with us. Okay, it is time to bring our service to a close. Before we do, if you are struggling, if you would like spiritual support, please take advantage of our after-service prayer. You can go back to, I think that's Joyce over in the corner there. She will guide you to one of our licensed prayer practitioners who would be happy to pray about whatever it is that you desire in your life. And if you're watching online, there's a link you can follow to attend our free online confidential prayer. So please do take advantage of that. All right, I invite us to stand as we are able and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone. That Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you're guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this peace within. And so it is. Thank you for being here. Let's close in song.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of peace. And I choose fear to release. Every